Hey there, Heather, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to a brand new series. Uh, it's kind of a revamp of a series I have done the past 2 years called the OOTP Legends League. If you have been hanging around my stuff for the past 2 years, I have done um, 2 years of a Legends League. What I did was I don't know how many teams, like 76 teams. I did it based off of great stadiums and all that, but and the legend teams. So I had teams like the Baltimore Legends and the Boston Legends play as a team, like all 30 teams having their Legends teams. And then what I did was I put seasonal teams and put them in stadiums. Like Chase Stadium hosted one of the Mets teams. I can't remember which one I put on there for the longest time. I also, I also put like City Fields having the 2015 Mets, 1961 Yankees, a lot of these teams. So what I did was let's do that. And then every stadium would get at least a game of the day, and then I would play every day, every possible day, and just have a matchup every day, and then go through the playoffs and all that, which had 8 teams in each league take on each other, and did it like kind of real time, if you will. And then after the first season, I had the 3 worst teams by record and all that be contracted, and then it would be down to like 76 teams or something like that. I don't know how I did it. And then it was going to be 3 more. But real life has taken an advantage of me. I have a new laptop, a new gaming laptop that's supposed to be taking PS5 stuff and all that. So my brother is taking my computer away, my desktop PC, and I'm going to be on a laptop and all that. That's why it's OOTP 24 instead of 22 for this year, and all that. So what I decided to do is do Legends League, but put a little twist on it. So yeah, the 30 teams, legendary teams, the Cubs legends, the Reds legends, and the Pirates legends, and all that. That everyone gets their legends team. But I decided to have the non-legend stuff for stadiums. So what I did was I decided that every team will get a legends team and a seasonal team based off of a stadium. Now, the seasonal team has to have won the World Series, and if not, then it's just like scrambling to find a thing. So every franchise gets one of those babies. So now, as you can see here, is the fruits of my labor. There's an, and you're thinking, okay, well, these guys, like some teams are missing. It's like you look at the AL East, it's like you see Baltimore, Boston, and the Yankees, and then you're like, hang on a second, where the heck are Tampa? Where the heck is Toronto? Did you take out your own hometown's Legends team? Answer: no, I didn't. Look, as you can see, there's the AL North and the AL South. So, so what I did was I put every division would have 3 Legends teams and 3 seasonal teams in it. And then I decided based on of geography to set up the North and the South. So the North has Detroit, Minnesota, and Toronto's legendary teams in it. I set that up because of how north the teams are. So Detroit and Minnesota were taken from the AL Central and the Blue Jays from the AL East to go play in the AL North, a new division. The AL South has Houston, Tampa, and Texas in it. So Houston and Texas were taken from the AL West and Tampa from the AL East to make the South and make 3 teams there. In the NL, you see Atlanta, Mets, and Philly, meaning that Washington and Florida were taking out. So look at the NL North and the NL South. The North has Colorado, Milwaukee, and Washington. So each division, the East, Central, and West, lost somebody. Washington, Milwaukee, and Colorado, respectively, to the NL North. And the South has Miami, San Diego, and St. Louis. Of course, that's the same thing. Each division lost one of those, and they were St. Louis was put as they were the southernmost team, but yeah, I know St. Louis is weird in the NL South with Miami and San Diego and those other teams, but that's how I set them up. So I'm going to give you a division by division look at the teams and meet the teams within the divisions. So we start with the AL East. Here are the Baltimore Legends. Their primary lineup: George Sisler, great hitter for the 1920 St. Louis Browns. Of course, the St. Louis Browns used to be Baltimore used to be the St. Louis Browns before they moved in 1954. Brian Roberts at second base, a great speed threat. Ken Williams, left field, great player in the 20s for St. Louis Browns. Frank Robinson, F. Rob. You can only get one team. And Frank Robinson, his career was revitalized after Cincinnati dumped him off to Baltimore. He revitalized his career. Eddie Murray at first base. He's a prime first baseman. 3,000 hit and 500 home run in a Orioles outfit. Great guy in the 80s for the Orioles. Cal Ripken Jr. at shortstop, his normal position. A lot of people will think Cal Ripken plays third base. Yeah, he did. But he got moved from shortstop to third base so that Ryan Miner could be the shortstop. RIP. Brooks Robinson at third base, the human vacuum cleaner who recently died. But hey, you know what? He's a legend. Paul Blair in center field, a wizard defensively, and Rick Dempsey, who could catch with the best of them. Their main rotation is Jim Palmer, number 22, known for his jockey underwear ads and a great pitcher in the 70s. Mike Moose Mussina, great guy in the 90s for the Orioles. Eric Bedard, Canadian, and was supposed to be a star, but injuries would ruin him. Urban Shocker, a great player for the St. Louis Browns. And Mike Cuellar, a underrated left-hander in the Orioles' late 60s, early 70s dynasty. The bullpen, Tim Stoddard is the closer. He actually was an iconic college basketball player for NC State in 1974 when they shocked UCLA and ruined their chance to win an 8th NCAA tournament in a row. BJ Ryan, great closer and all that. He's the setup man. Dave McNally got booted from the rotation, so he's in the bullpen. He was also a great pitcher in the 1960s. Jack Powell, I don't know when he played for the St. Louis Browns, but he's there. Stu Miller, who was a closer for Baltimore in the 1960s, and for the Giants, but I guess he created stuff for the Orioles. Jim Johnson, a great closer in the 2010s for the Orioles, and Dick Hall, a pitcher in the 60s for the Orioles. See all that? Now I'll give you the ballpark. Take a look. This is Baltimore's ballpark, Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Sponsored by many groups. Geico, the iconic right field. This is just the park profile. All that. The scoreboard by Lake Mason. The B&O warehouse down the right field line is the two-tiered bullpen. So give you that. Now let's go to Boston. The Boston Legends. This is what their lineup is like. Tris Speaker at center field. A lot of people also say he's a good Cleveland player too, but yeah, he started at Boston, part of the 1912 team that won the World Series. Nomar Garcia-Parra at shortstop. Very good shortstop before injuries curtailed him. And even though he started 2004 with the Red Sox, he did not take part in their World Series appearance. Wish he had a ring. Ted Williams, the legend that is Ted Williams at left field. Teddy Ballgame, greatest hitter that ever lived. That's what he wants. He wanted, and sometimes you agree. David Ortiz at first base. Big Papi, if you will. Pronunciation is key, but yeah, Big Papi at first base. Jim Rice, great right fielder. Well, he plays left field, but with Ted Williams playing left, he's playing right field. Big name guy. I recently did a sports catastrophe birthday boy on Jim Rice. 400 total bases. No American League player has ever hit that mark since 1978 when Jim Rice did it and winning the AL MVP. Mo Vaughn at DH. Very good power hitter for Boston. Dustin Pedroia at second base. Won an MVP if memory serves me right. Wade Boggs at third base. Great hitting average and all that. Very superstitious at times. And Carlton Fisk at catcher, one of the best catchers around. Of course, 1975, Game 6, waving that ball to hit the foul pole and go fair and winning that World Series game. It was huge. Rotation-wise, Roger Clemens, Rocket Roger Clemens, 20 strikeouts in his breakout year in 1986, winning the Cy Young and MVP. Cy Young, well, the legend Cy Young himself, great pitcher and all that, 500 plus wins. Smokey Joe Wood, a guy who was part of the 1912 squad and was a good pitcher and a good outfielder too, doing two things. John Lester, they decided to put a lefty in. John Lester is in the starting rotation. So lefty, he was okay. For me, he's more known as a Cub. And R.I.P. Tim Wakefield, who recently died. He's the number 5 guy, the knuckler in the rotation. The closer for the Red Sox Legends is Pablo Bond, well served, I think. Daniel Bard as a setup guy. Huge. Louis Tiant is in as a setup guy with his herky-jerky delivery and all that. 1975 World Series participant. Big Radutz, known for his Frankenstein flat top and hard pitches in the 1960s. Tom Gordon, for Boston, revitalized his career as a reliever after being a starter for Kansas City for many years because I had his card with the Royals. Hideki Okojima is a reliever, great lefty. And Heathcliff Slocum is a good righty. He's in the bullpen. Of course, Seattle fans will rue that name because Slocum was traded to Seattle for the prospect Jason Varitek and Derek Lowe. So Jason Varitek deal. Let's head out the ballpark. That is Fenway Park. Now, you may be waiting, wait a minute, that's not Fenway Park. Yes, it is. It's the 1910s Fenway Park. Now, there is a reason why I chose this ballpark for Boston's Legends. As you see, the right center stands really cutting the field. There's a big triangle area, gem razors, and of course, left field is left field at Wrigley, but it's filled with advertisements like from Calvert, Pencil, and Lifebuoy, and all that. The Green Monster didn't exist. There were boards and all that. Now, if you played MVP Baseball 2005, like I did for many years for the PS2, you know that they have Classic Fenway in the game, and that's what happened. Left field is full of advertisements. Yeah, so the distances are really huge and all that. For the 1910s Fenway Park. Now let's go to the Yankees legends that are in the AL East. Leading off will be Lou Gehrig at first base, the Iron Horse, the guy who had that consecutive streak of 2,130 games before Cal Ripken took over it. But yeah, this guy was amazing. Wally Pipp was injured, so Gehrig replaced him and never relinquished first base for the Yankees. Of course, the DH didn't exist until the 1970s. Excuse me. But yeah, Lou Gehrig was icon. Luckiest man on the face of the earth. Don Mattingly will DH. Well, of course, first base is Hedvig Gehrig. Mattingly, fantastic hitter, very underrated. 240 hits in 1985, the year of my birth. But yeah, Mattingly was a great player. Too bad for Mattingly that he didn't play through the 96 season, in which the Yankees won the championship. He would have got a ring. Babe Ruth in left field, although I wish he was in right field. But yeah, Babe Ruth will be the main left fielder. Of course, his career finalized after joining the Yankees. He was less of a pitcher, more of a hitter, and he could belt those home runs. Mickey Mantle in center field. Great man of the 1950s when all three New York teams had a good center fielder, Duke Snyder, Willie Mays as well. But Mickey Mantle was just Yankees royalty and all that. They wanted him to break Babe Ruth's home run record, not Roger Maris. I feel bad for Roger. Joe DiMaggio playing right field. Jolton Joe DiMaggio. Lifelike. He dated Marilyn Manson. No, Marilyn Monroe. What am I thinking? Regardless, Robbie Cano at second base. Now, second base to me seems to be Yankees' weakest position. But yeah, Robbie Cano played well. Bill Dickey is the starting catcher. Well, the primary lineup is Bill Dickey at catcher. Surprised it's not Yogi Berra, but they probably want Bill Dickey there. Roger Peckinpah at shortstop. I don't know why they put him in and not Derek Jeter, but primary lineup is Peckinpah at shortstop. Should be Derek Jeter, I know. And Greg, that's what the game says. And Greg Nettles at third base. So, the pitch, the rotation looks like this. Ron Guitry, Louisiana Lightning, the ace, a very fantastic pitcher who the Jays actually almost had. The Jays almost sent Bill Singer to the Yankees for Guitry, but Bavasi said that no, we need a big name player for the Blue Jays in the inaugural season. It bit the Jays in the butt, especially in 1978 when Guitry had that 24-3 season. Red Ruffing, great pitcher of the 30s and 40s for the Yankees, number 2. And then Whitey Ford, left-hander, sparkling, all that great guy, had the World Series record for scoreless innings. Consecutive scoreless innings. Well, by a starter, I should say. And he did all that. Of course, a lot of people were upset that the old system that what Casey Stengel did prevented Ford from pitching in many prolific games. Eddie Pettit is number 4 in the rotation. He's a good left-hander and all that. Almost won the 96 Cy Young. Should have won the 96 Cy Young, so it's Pat Hankin, which is weird because, I'm a Blue Jays fan. And Babe Ruth is 5th in the rotation, which means that someone will play left field when Ruth is pitching. So Ruth will do the double. Now, the bullpen is full of bullpen people and not really starters. Mario Rivera, a closer, well-deserved. Enter Sandman. He's the guy with the scoreless innings streak in the World Series plate, even though he's a closer. Goose Gossage, also in the bullpen, very good reliever. David Robertson, a very good setup guy. Sparky Lyle is in there too. He was a good fireman or closer. Dave Righetti, good reliever. Well, he was a starter, and he did have a no-hitter against the Red Sox on the 4th of July, 1983, but he soon became a good closer. Steve Hamilton with the Folly Floater pitch, and Lady McDaniel, good pitcher in the 1960s. Info for you, ballpark. Show you where the Yankees play at Yankee Stadium, the current Yankee Stadium with the big scoreboard, Delta and Yankee Stadium and Bank of America. With center field with all the monuments and all that. So that's what the Yankees will play at. So those are the 3 legend teams. But we have 3 seasonal teams. I put the 2020 Tampa Bay Rays in the AL East. Well, the Ray Legends are in the South, so I decided to move the seasonal team, the 2020 Rays, into the AL East. So they have Manny Margot in right field, Joey Wendell DHing, Willie Adames short, Brandon Lowe at second, Mike Pusso at first, Yandy Diaz at third, Randy Azarena in left, Kevin Kiermaier at center, and Johnny Grabowski will catch. Their rotation, Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell, Ryan Yarbrough, Josh Fleming, and Charlie Morton. Bullpen, Aaron Seegers, John Curtis, Jalen Beeks, Trevor Richards, Pete Fairbanks, Diego Castillo, and Aaron Loop. Their ballpark will be Tropicana Field, so they'll play at the Trop. Visa, that looks like a Molson thing in Target, but yeah, great stadium. Now, actually, they'll share the stadium with the Tampa Bay Legends. I came up with 56 very good. Well, each franchise could only get 2 ballparks each. So Tampa only has played in 1 ballpark in their history, Tropicana Field. So I decided to make the 2020 Rays and the Rays Legends share Tropicana Field and try to make sure that if they both play on the same day at home, that one will get an afternoon game, one will get an evening game just for prosperity. And then come the 93 Toronto Blue Jays. I put Toronto in there because, the Blue Jays moved to the north, so I put the seasonal team in the AL East. 93 team. Robbie Alomar at second. Devon White in center. John Olerud first base. Paul Muller DHing. Joe Carter in left. Ed Sprague at third. Pat Borders catching. Darnell Coles in right. And Dick Schofield at short. Now, the thing with out of the park baseball, I guess every year, is that the rosters, like the 93 Blue Jays, this is not the season ending roster. This is the season starting roster. Because as as Blue Jay fans know, that Ricky Henderson came to the 93 Blue Jays and was in the starting lineup in left field, putting Carter to right field. Also, the fact of the matter is that Dick Schofield actually was a Blue Jay. He got hurt, and then that forced the Blue Jays to pick up Tony Fernandez from the Mets. Starting rotation: Juan Guzman, Todd Stoudemire, Al Leiter, Dave Stewart, and Jack Morris. Bullpen: Dwayne Ward, Mark Eichhorn, Danny Cox, Tony Castillo, Mike Timlin, Scott Brow, and Pat Henkin. Yeah, Pat Henkin was a starter. I know he won 19 games and was a starter. All that. I might, but Stoudemire. I feel like I want to move Stoudemire to the bullpen, but Hankinen, but no, I won't. Ballpark is the Rogers Center, so aka Skydome. So the Rogers Center is where the 93 Blue Jays will play. Of course, the big video board, Rogers branding, Visa and Stanley, and those scoreboards and all that. Now, the Blue Jay legends will not share with the 93 Blue Jays. The 93 Blue Jays will have the Skydome to themselves. The Blue Jay legends will play in a different stadium, which I will talk about when I talk about the AL North. And finally, to end this video, the 2004 Red Sox. I decided to put the two Red Sox teams in the same division. I tried my best not to, but the 2004 Red Sox are there. Johnny Damon and center. Nomar Garciaparra DHing. Manram will play left field. Big Papi at first. Jason Varitek catching. Kevin Millar in right. Mark Bellhorn at second. Kevin Youkilis at third. And Pokey Reese at short. Now, of course, as I said, this is the season starting roster because every Red Sox fan, including Al Red Sox fan, knows that Nomar Garciaparra was traded from Boston to the Cubs in a 3-team deal with the Cardinals, which saw Edgar Renteria comes Orlando Cabrera came from the Expos in a big deal. So Cabrera. Renteria played for the Cardinals that year. I was thinking Renteria for the Red Sox in 2004, but maybe I'm wrong. But regardless, there, Kurt Schilling, Pedro Martinez, Bronson Arroyo, Tim Wakefield, Derek Lowe are your starting rotation. Keith Falk at closer, Scott Williamson, Lenny DiNardo, Mike Timlin, Ramiro Mendoza, Mark Malaska, and Anastasio Martinez. The bullpen. The info there, ballpark, and that's where they'll play. The Red Sox legends will play at Old Fenway Park. The 2014 will play where they won the championship at Fenway Park with the Green Monster and all that. Bank of America, that triangle in center field, and Pesky's pole and all that. So that's where they'll play. So that's where they'll play. And now you know the AL North, the AL East. So the next video will be the AL Central to set yourself up for the next season. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.